So, a sermon. What is a sermon? Sermon has become a 45-minute arbitrary lecture in the middle of a service. And it's kind of like the crux of the service. I've been to one church service that didn't have a sermon. One. And that was at a Spirit-filled church down in Florida. And it was a Assemblies of God church. And the pastor was about to do the sermon, and he said, you know what? I feel like instead we should pray for the country. And so he broke out into groups and just started praying. Small congregation. But it's like we can't do that anymore. If you dare to deviate from the church schedule, from the bulletin, you are an apostate or something. Like I don't get it. And I get where people would mention about teachers teaching and all that. You know, Paul taught, and he gave a several hour-long lecture, and a guy fell out of a window and died because of it, and then he had to bring him back. But that doesn't mean we should be doing that every single week for no reason. And I know they say it's to feed the sheep. You know, of course, that would make sense if they were actually feeding the flock. But I guarantee you, you go to 90% of these sermons at various churches, and their sermon is literally like taking a chunk of scripture, and they'll read it, then they'll pray, then they'll read it again, piece by piece, and they'll paraphrase it, rather than actually like divulging into it or giving some sort of revelatory, spirit-inspired word. No, they just paraphrase it. They'll, raise their vocal inflection, and they'll act it out, and they'll get passionate as they paraphrase it. And as they tell you stuff you can probably figure out by reading it. But that's it. We got to break free of that. But I'm tired of hearing, I know all scripture is beneficial for teaching and reproof and blah, blah, blah. But there's somebody explain to me why we need this 45-minute lecture. I don't get it. See ya.